So, of course, your estranged husband's name coming up frequently, especially recently in the State Capture Commission of Inquiry. And, of course, having been married to him for 6 years, you've witnessed a lot, you've seen a lot. What do you know about some of these allegations that have been made? Do you know anything about these allegations?
I found him there with the Guptas, so I don't know how much they've known each other, because I was new to this whole thing. And also, I don't know what was wrong and what was right. So I only knew that things were wrong when the media started putting pressure. The EFF were asking things. Then I was asking what was wrong. He was like, no, it's just a campaign to destroy my name. So actually, I don't know exactly what was wrong, because what I know, it was we visit, sometimes they get gifts, or sometimes they gave him things. So I didn't know what was wrong about everything. But now I know, because he's so paranoid, asking oh, don't say that, don't say this. I was like, how? But you said you declared this, and you said it was okay. But all of a sudden, now I'm aware that some of the stuff was right, some of the stuff was wrong. But he will be the one who will say at the state capture, so he will explain himself, so I can't talk on his behalf.
We're also seeing some evidence that was led by a bodyguard that used to work for Mr. Gigaba. What do you know about the evidence he brought forward in terms of bags of money?
He was telling the truth. Because, yeah, they used to give him a lot of money. But I don't know why they were giving money for. But sometimes he used to say, no, I do favors for them, they're Guptas. So then they will give him money. But it was a lot of cash all the time. So I don't know what is it for. But he used to use that money for different things. Maybe it's either for his lifestyle, to build his home, and also to give it to his sisters. Because at the time his sister was on credit bureau, then he was owing 850,000, and they just pay it like that. I think even in our wedding, in our honeymoon. So they were always there to help, financially, all the time. So although I was not there when they gave him money, but I will see him when we leave, because every time when we used to go there, he used to carry the bag and they will give him money. And then when we get home, he will take that money and put it on the safe and pack it. So yeah, it was there. But he's the one who will answer better that what it was it for, because I was not there when it was given.
You've mentioned that you were at the compound many times. Yeah. Do you have a ballpark figure, in the past 6 years you've been married? Do you know how many times you've been at the Gupta compound?
We used to go there frequently. We used to go. But sometimes they used to come at our house as well. So, but although it was not a lot of them coming to our houses, but yeah, we used to go there a lot, especially when it was at DPE. Lesser at home at first, but at DPE, yeah, it was a lot of times. Then I think at the time where I asked him, I was like, why? You said you don't recall. Because I think there was a time where they asked him in Parliament how many times you've been there. He was like, I don't recall. Then maybe I was there in occasional, then I don't remember we were there for occasional. I think it was once, it was at Diwali. But most of the time there were no occasions. We were there for meetings. They were working. So, but it was like, okay, yeah. Because he never consulted me for anything. But we were there, yeah, we were there.
What kind of impact has it had on your relationship in terms of any strain that it's put on your relationship? How has it been?
I think because most of the time he was so stressed, but he's the kind of person who's very good in pretending. Even when he's stressed, he won't show that much, because also he's a very laid-back person. So you won't know how stressed he is unless maybe you will have so much of migraines. But he was so into himself at the time because he doesn't talk a lot. So I didn't know sometimes how he felt. It's either there were times maybe he will just lash out. Then I will know that maybe he's so stressing. But because there were a lot of meetings happening underground, because we're staying at the State House during the time, and the State House has a house underground. So a lot of things happened there, which have never been underground. It's only the helpers used to go there So I don't know what was happening there. Even when we were at the Gupta house, so I don't know most of the meetings, what was happening.
And at some point, it seemed as though your estranged husband was being groomed possibly for the highest office in the land. It seemed as though you guys were, you know, the power couple in terms of his aspirations or his ambitions of making it to the highest office in the land. What do you know about, you know, the relationships he built around possibly occupying the presidency?
All of a sudden lately, like when our marriage like really went on the rocks, so stuff like that came up. And I didn't know that he was so much in this president's thing, but he is. But that was his ambitions, so it was never be like a couple thing, that's what we wanted as a couple. So, yeah. But also for me now, that was one thing that I never look out for because, yeah, I breathed through the wound when he was a minister. Just imagine if he's a president, like that would be a lot. So I think maybe he will find himself someone else to go there.
Did you expect him to, should I say, turn on you?
Not really. I won't say like I felt betrayed because that's the person that who he is. So I knew that my turn will come one day. So when he did that interview that he did with CNN, I was so shocked. I even like asked him after, like when I saw it, I was like, wow, how can you do that to him, to former President Zuma? Because I think it took him like his own son, like the kind of relationship that I've seen. So I don't know what went wrong between the two of them because he never said anything about him. So I knew that one day, if he can do that to someone like that, he will do it to me as well. So, but I didn't know what exactly it will be. So when it came, it was, oh, wow, yeah, it was my turn. Then that's it. So it was not like a betrayal, but it was a shock because I felt like he went too far with it.
Do you know anything in terms of whether he's used his power, his influence in an untoward manner?
What I know now, since this whole arrest happened like weeks before, then he was like, oh no, don't tell anyone, like my sister have worked for Guptas, because his sister worked for Guptas. I think it was in 2012 or 2013, I don't remember exactly. And also, I know there was a lot of money coming in, but to me, he said it was a gift, like favors. So I didn't know what were the favor. And when I was asking him, is it the right thing you're doing? Then he was like, no, yeah, they are his advisors. So for me, when I came in, because most of the time, he was always there. So I took them like maybe their advisors. Yeah. So they were advising him maybe who to appoint, maybe who to remove. Because most of the time, it was more of that. They used to have a list, but when they start the meeting, so I never knew like who would, someone that they would put in a position because I would leave the house or they will ask me to leave. So they never speak in front of me. So I don't know exactly what went down. So he's the one who knows exactly. But I only found out, like, I think 2 weeks of my arrest, like, because it was the time where he was asking me things. Do you remember this? If anyone asks you that, just tell them that you don't want to talk, use a spousal privilege. So then I was like, what is a spousal privilege? So he explained that. And even after my arrest, he reminded me that. But I was like, the spousal privilege, why it didn't work when I was arrested? So why you didn't use it? So why the spousal privilege only works on my side? So that's where I was like starting to digest, okay, there was a lot of things. Because when media was saying those things, or in parliament, when people were asking him about those things, he used to say, it's a political campaign. So, and he would dismiss that. And I don't analyze. There were a lot of times I would feel sad for him because I used to trust what he's saying. So I only knew now that, oh, okay, there was a lot going on. Yeah, maybe that's why I also was not allowed to sit in those meetings.